I want to present the moment you've been waiting for.
After working like 10.5 hours, and I watched all these shows and I wrote my notes. Corey works his mate He doesn't do anything.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Hypetrain podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Corey, the most prepared of the three of us.
Clearly.
All right, we are back, and we are reviewing 3 movie trailers this episode. We each had to pick one. So, Matt, this is your pick. Go ahead.
Yes, so my pick, it's called The Kingsman. It's the 3rd movie in the Kingsman series, so it's hard for me to say because the first 2 movies were The Kingsman and The Kingsman Golden Circle, but this is The Kingsman. 2 words. Well, 3 words. It's possessive, I think. Now, 2 words. What am I saying? Anyway, it's hard to say Kingsman when you're trying to say Kingsman. You may think I'm stalling. I'm not. But it's time for the trailer.
I was waiting for you, by the way, to play it.
I know.
Okay.
This will not be a war of heroes. Nations will slaughter each other while we get rich. This is going to be fun.
You cannot keep me locked away as the world burns.
Son, the truth is the world is ruled by corruption and greed.
We must do something.
Certainly. We are the first independent intelligence agency. Refined but brutal. Civilized but merciless.
Welcome to the club.
Very clever.
It's time to pour fuel on the fire of revolution.
Yes, my shepherd. Welcome, Englishman.
Rasputin, your reputation precedes you.
Let's end this as gentlemen. After all, manners maketh man.
Why is it that boys are always so messy?
All right.
Noise.
How was that, Corey?
So am I starting off? Are we starting?
No. I just wanted to know how was it, considering that was the first time you saw it.
I mean, I could see it.
So, Corey,
I mean, I seen it.
We're getting Corey's fresh takes on each one of these trailers.
And from here on out.
So
That's a precedent that Corey wants to establish, is that he will not prepare.
what sucks is, like,
2 of us will.
when I was doing my notes for the movies, I was like, well, Corey usually does his IMDb deep dive thing, so I won't do that for a lot of these. And now I'm like, I feel underprepared because you didn't prepare at all. So there's that.
I think we all know who the Zach Morris in our group is.
Matt, go ahead. You picked this movie, so you can start on the preview review portion.
Yes. I'd really be more interested to hear what you guys have to say first.
Okay.
Before I will say, World War One. Great PR now. For some reason, everything's World War One now.
Yeah.
I can't recall any World War One content when we were children, but everything's World War One now. Wonder Woman's World War One. You know, Kingsman is World War One. You know, Battlefield 1. World War One, like, bought a new publicist or something. And World War One is getting out there. Like,
it's here.
Congrats to World War One. Like, that was World War II's race to lose, and it lost, apparently. I don't know.
So my view on the Kingsman, I liked the first two movies. Probably the first one more. I don't know. I was never really.
You should.
I was never super interested in the origins of Kingsman, but this looks really interesting. As Corey would say, star-studded cast. You got is it Rafe Fiennes? Is that how you say
it's
it?
Ralph for sure.
Ralph
No,
Fiennes.
it is. It's spelled Ralph. You say Rafe Fiennes.
No, you don't.
Absolutely, you do.
I've been saying Crandall. I've been looking like an idiot.
I say that because I hear that whenever he gets introduced in something. I always hear people say that. Anyway, so you got him as the Duke of Oxford. Daniel Bruhl's in this. A lot of the actors here: Gemma Arterton, Aaron Taylor Johnson. The guy who's playing Rasputin, I love him from The Replacements. Is like the first thing I thought.
Yeah,
Buys Ifans. I don't know how to say his name. And then I don't know how to say his name either. Jaman Hounsou as the character Shola.
Yeah,
like,
right.
These actors are all really like they run the gamut of acting in so many different like serious dramatic movies to like comedies to everything. Very talented cast though in this. So that's one thing that I was kind of excited was seeing a lot of people signed on for it. Stanley Tucci, who is awesome in whatever he does usually, is an unnamed character that I saw. So we'll see what he turns out to be. It might have something to do with spoilers, which is why they didn't put his name on there. I was actually expecting to see from watching the first few films of some sort of references to why they named all their agents after King Arthur's court.
After the Knights, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I didn't see any of that, which was kind of surprising. And even looking through the character names, like the Duke of Oxford is the main guy. So, I mean, I don't know. Corey, what do you think? We got your fresh take.
So, this isn't the first Kingsman trailer I've seen. Oh, this is the first time I'm seeing this one in particular. And I think it goes to show just how much a good, like, backing soundtrack can make for
I was gonna say how much I hated it.
Really? Because
I don't like that version of War or whatever the heck they're doing.
Oh man, because the first Kingsman trailer I saw, and Sanford is correct as always, that saying King's Man is like, it's such an effort to put in to just saying Kingsman and just letting it run off your tongue. Yeah. But the first trailer for the King's Man that I saw, I was like, this looks boring as shit. I don't give a about none. We're not supposed to be cussing.
Yeah, it's all. That's a big one for me. Let me just mark down the timestamp here so I can remember this. Okay, go ahead.
But like the first trailer I saw, it was so like bland. Oh, I'm unprofessional. It was so bland and boring, and I was just like, I don't care about the origin. Like, what happened to Eggsy and where's? Yeah. Because I love the first Kingsman movies as well. They're just very fun, poppy, like British upbeat action spy kind of jaunts. And I saw this and I was like, man, I don't care what they're doing when like their technology is much less like high tech.
Oh yeah, well,
beginning
I wrote down in my notes there's some a fair amount of like suspension of belief with their super high tech for those times technology, like the sword with the gun barrels coming out of the hill.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, really? Like, go back in time and try to engineer that. I think you'd have a little harder time than you think. But anyway.
Hey, jerks, why don't you just jump back in your time machine and try and do it back then?
But it's a movie, though.
We did that just now.
Well, in the previous episode.
Right. We're just
coming back. If you haven't checked out yet, you should check out.
Hey, here's the link right here. Wow.
Hey, wow.
Hey, that's fun editing for you. But as I was saying, I'm much more interested in seeing the film after this version of the trailer than I was before. And I think that's solely on the fact that it was it was way better edited, and this underlying soundtrack. Whereas before it was just like, we're the Kingsman and we're doing very proper things. And ooh, that Hitler, he's a bad guy. And Rasputin's here too. And it's just like, man, this seems boring as... I won't swear because I don't want Fernandez to have to do extra editing.
Thanks, buddy.
But that's my hot-ish take on this.
Hot-ish take. Okay.
Yeah. Bringing this all together, the Kingsman was not my first choice for this episode, but it was the first one that worked. And I'm glad we watched this trailer. We all actually seem to be kind of in agreement. It shows sort of like the you're darned if you do, darned if you don't sort of aspect of trailers, because the first Kingsman movie, it's both crazy wild action and really it's funny, and it's goofy and whatever. What you can almost not highlight both things in a trailer. And this one, they've gone high on the action. Like, this is a high octane action movie, and maybe there's a few jokes here, but it doesn't necessarily show the soul of the series.
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree, because you saying all that got me thinking how I received the first Kingsman movie. Was, I remember at that time they were rebooting James Bond, and either before or a little after or whatever, but a lot of people even said that the Kingsman movies were what James Bond should have been. There isn't as much of a spy element in this that I feel charming spy, how James Bond is always very aloof in what he does and stuff, and in the older films. And then James Bond took a turn, and
it would have been to root that in time. I think it would have been right around the time Skyfall was released.
Yeah. Okay.
Which you and I saw together.
Mm-hmm, I remember that.
Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
And I recall we both didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall, I think we both kind of didn't like it.
Yeah,
No,
one thing we got.
And that's a great point. And this trailer, it doesn't necessarily show that soul. I'm still hopeful, because frankly, after I watched this trailer, I'm like, is Matthew Vaughn still directing this movie?
He is.
And he is.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, other than the other two Kingsman movies, Matthew Vaughn, he's directed quite a few things. Yeah, like X-Men First Class, Kick-Ass.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the movie. You don't have to censor
it. when I looked him up too, he's producing a Flash Gordon reboot had just been announced. And this was yesterday when I looked on IMDb about it. It was kind of cool. Flash Gordon's a little before my time, but I'm interested to see what they're going to do with him.
One last thing I want to say is there appears to be it could be different, but I think they know what they're doing. Well, okay, two things. One, dear every screenwriter in the world, there are other creepy historical figures other than Rasputin. We don't need to. We don't need to keep throwing Rasputin into movies. He had nothing to do. I mean, he was alive. He died around the when World War I was going on, but he didn't have anything to do with fanning the flames of World War I. But we have to insert Rasputin into everything, apparently. And two, the scene with the bomb and the convoy, it looks like they're literally, I mean, it could be a coincidence. It looks like they're literally showing us a scene that the Kingsman is at the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand that started World War I. I'm like, I never really thought I'd see that adapted for the screen in in a spy spoof movie.
Yeah.
But here we are, 2020.
All right. So Kingsman is boom or bust. What do we think? Do we think it's gonna do great or fail? What are the expectations? Corey, go ahead.
I think it's gonna do good. Kingsman definitely has its audience, and like we were saying, the counterpoint to when you're up when spy movies are your genre and you're up against something as serious as Daniel Craig's James Bond, it really helps to lean towards the funnier Our Man Flint and In Like Flint aspect of things. So yeah, I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty hyped. I think with me, I'm just a fan of all these people acting in this movie. It looks really well done. I'm a fan of a lot of Matthew Vaughn's work. So it's a boom from me. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go boom as well. As far as like level of success is concerned, I think as long as they get, obviously this is modern times now. As long as they figure out how they're getting this movie to people will want to see this movie. I'm interested on a personal level, or else I wouldn't pick it. But yeah, I think it has good potential.
Speaking of like how they're gonna get movies to people, did you guys hear that the Mulan movie is now going straight to? Because they postponed it to try to get it in theaters, and now it's going straight to Disney Plus.
Everything changes every day now because like 2 weeks before that, the article was completely removed from the slate. No idea when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Who knows? This movie may never come out. And then like late last week or earlier this week, it's like, hey, you can watch Mulan in a month.
And I heard it's not just watch. I heard it's an additional like charge to your Disney Plus account to see it.
Wow.
Yeah,
But the stipulation is that if you pay the one-time fee of whatever it's going to be, it'll be on your Disney Plus account until you don't have Disney Plus anymore.
And I Mulan's like that movie that like when I heard they were going to remake it, I was actually pretty hyped for it because like I know my nieces really love a lot of the new Disney remakes and I've seen like The Lion King. I kind of couldn't really sit through Aladdin even though I heard it was all right. But this one I was super excited for. I liked this one as a kid a lot. It has a lot of great action scenes. So a live action version I thought was going to be really interesting seeing this, Disney princess movie, but it's the big action sequences and stuff like that. So
well, and the reason I had heard, the reason I had heard they had held off so long was because they really wanted this to slide in the second Chinese cinema open back up because they had edited so much of the script to appeal to that audience.
Oh man!
Like they got rid of a bunch of stuff.
This is
terrible.
Yeah, this is a whole other podcast, so I won't.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I won't go into that. I want to point out that at this point, not our most recent episode before this, but our second most recent episode is just talking about how they're changing things. Just after our third episode was released, Bill and Ted Face the Music, its release date changed to be even sooner. Like. So they moved that up a few days too. It seems like people are in sort of this new 2020 sort of thing. These release dates are completely porous. Like they're just tweaking them whenever they want. So now that releases at the end of this month instead of the beginning of next month.
Yeah, there's a podcast that I was following and they did an episode kind of about I think movie theaters were or the movie companies were making a deal with movie theaters where I think theatrical release happens, but then 17 days after the theatrical release, it's going to be available for streaming on the streaming services. And the theaters who are like hurting right now, the companies that own the theaters like AMC and stuff, I think are taking the deal because they do get a cut of some of the online streaming profits. So okay. I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. But I mean, like, I remember when I was a kid and you'd have a movie come out in theaters and you'd have to wait like a year, maybe a little more, before it became on VHS, so you could go rent it at your local video
Yeah,
store.
it felt like lifetimes waiting for theater movies to get home.
Yeah.
So, in summation of this segment of the podcast, man, World War I times were weird, but also modern times are weird? Question mark.
I love that. Okay, so yeah, let's move on. Corey, this is your trailer. You pick this one. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. Guys, this is the trailer for Blackwater Abyss. 5 friends exploring a remote cave system in northern Australia find themselves threatened by a very large and very hungry crocodile. And go. Oh, look at it.
So, this cave.
This thing is unexplored.
The shaft
It goes way down.
Ready?
See at the bottom. What do you reckon? Let's check it out. What'd I tell you? This is incredible, huh?
Hey.
What the hell is that? The cave's filling up. It must push its banks. We're going to be in the water whether we like it or not.
1990 episode. Like, I kind of want all the trailers to have.
Does anyone have service?
Only a short swim.
Deep underground, trapped by a nightmare. And not alone. Uh-oh.
Rob Schneider is.
We got to swim out.
They were thinking about getting laid, but instead, a crocodile.
He's not going to.
He's over 4,000 years old and a virgin. Record scratch.
Don't splash.
Do not move a muscle.
Oh, man. Why was the car in water? Oh, man.
Well, it's not supposed to be in there.
So, interestingly enough, I believe this released yesterday. Just so you know.
Yeah, I don't have notes, but what I quickly looked up on my phone was this was one of the first new films to be released in UK cinemas after COVID has been rampaging us wild. So this is actually has shown in theaters across the pond.
Wow.
So you say somebody paid money to watch this.
Well, I mean, I'm saying it showed whether or not someone was in the theater.
Yeah.
So I'm interested, Corey. Did you see the first Blackwater movie?
No. So that's what I was wondering too.
Because when you brought this one up, it was like Blackwater : Abyss, and I'm like, oh, so I have to look up a different Blackwater movie too to know about this. So, but go ahead.
So like I assumed it was like, oh, this is just a sequel to something. But I was also on the fence because, like we've said before, I did no research for these podcasts whatsoever because that's just the cool and hip guy I am.
Hey,
but screw homework, kids. So, but there was part of me that was like, well, maybe some dude just thought he was being edgy and just named it Blackwater Abyss.
That was your theory.
Yeah, that was my theory. Like,
this guy's just being edgy. Yeah,
it's so edgy.
That is not the case.
No, it's not.
The tagline for this movie is "Descend into Fear."
So, Matt, it seems like you took some notes. Why don't you take this one?
Okay, why don't I just read my notes verbatim?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't like movies like this. If you like movies like this is one. I don't think crocodiles live in caves. They aren't able to survive. It'll be out by the time we record this podcast, which it is. To not great acclaim, but basically what I mean is every human being has seen this movie before. They may have not the people getting eaten by the crocodile may not have been Australian in whatever movie you saw, but this is that movie.
Yeah.
So if you like that type of movie, I imagine this movie is fine. But I'm not excited about it.
Yeah, it's weird that you're right that this is a certain type of movie, and I'm just surprised there are that many of this. I guess survival horror, I guess, is the genre.
I think the genre is more big scary thing getting 4 randos. I think that's the genre.
Yeah, it's that.
My one plus from the movie was that it doesn't look like there's that much crappy CGI, which I was like, that's kind of a plus. Not seeing like a big, just trying to over exaggerate a huge crocodile or something with computer effects. It looked decent. I could say that. Yeah,
that is a credit, I think. I'm not big on really dark movies. I don't really like movies that are set in caves a lot. But I think that's a smart choice for a movie like this. So you can maybe do the thing that Jaws did accidentally by just not showing whatever, evil thing eating your friends too much. By making it really dark. It could be a budgetary thing, but hey, it worked in their favor. So
I mean, the first version, like the regular Blackwater in these Blackwater films, was also filmed in Australia, also about a crocodile. So maybe this connects. Maybe it's the same crocodile. Who knows? Australia has like a reputation of being like a bunch of scary things live there, so I think
just running around.
That's like part of why they made the movie, I guess, or why they make these movies. I compared it to like one of the first movies in this genre that I've seen that doesn't have anything big and like too much big scary thing. Is like the main thing was Open Water. I remember that, and actually that movie was, to me, it was really good because it did instill a sense of like, what would you do if you were trapped in the middle of the ocean with nothing? And that is a scary thought. This one, being trapped in a cave with a crocodile, watching the trailer, I was like, well, just get away from it, because as long as you don't mess with it, it shouldn't mess with you, because that's how crocodiles are. And it seems like it escalated, and the crocodile is then chasing them. And I'm like, what are you guys doing to this crocodile to piss it off so much? But anyway, as we know from the other episode when we did...
they were libidinous teenagers. They're not teenagers, but
the New Mutants, just to call back to our first episode. I don't like fake accents a lot, but this cast seems to be all Australian. So I'm like, oh, okay, so justified. Their accents are a little justified. They're probably fine in the movie. Didn't have too many complaints. So I was worried about that part too.
It's like, it's not how the trailer started, but in my head, the trailer was like, crikey, you guys hear about this cave? And it was like, Jesus.
And I guess for the boom and bust the boom or bust portion, this has been released. There's been one review on IMDb so far, and it's not very good. So yeah, Corey, you go ahead. You chose this film, so what do you think?
This is the boom or bust part. This is for sure going to be a bust, but not even in the sense of like that it's just going to be a bad movie. I think even in the community this is aimed for, like, this is not going to be good. Like you said, Open Water is always referenced because of the just the fear and terror that it instills in you of what would you do in that situation.
Yeah, maybe it may have kicked off these genres. I feel like I'm trying to find another like iconic version of this genre. But I can't really
you could make the argument that Jaws was the initial grandfather into where we are now with this.
It's like a subsection. It's like half of Jaws because it's not like it's like a spin-off almost of Jaws, because it doesn't have it's both giant monster and a stranded sort of thing, which Jaws is one, but not the other.
Yeah, it's weird that they're. I mean, I guess if we're actually giving this a genre, there is a spectrum of it because, like, you have the super schlocky, like Sharknado type films,
right?
And then you have Jaws, and you have then the survival version of this. So I don't know. It's weird how deep this genre gets.
As someone who enjoys this genre and these subsections, everyone knows by now that I'm into horror movie. Whatever it is, whatever time frame, whatever the theme, I'll watch it at least once through just to see how it goes. And it is very hard to make a good one of these movies in the horror section, and it's just so easy to, like, one small thing, whether it's showing too much of the monster too soon, bad accents, bad area, like script doesn't really come into play here, but it's so easy to take this off the rails. Yeah.
This is their first film. I mean, they looking into their credits, they've only wrote like episodes of various TV shows, stuff that I haven't heard that I'm assuming is Australian or UK TV shows that I have no idea what they are. So, but this is their first writing credit for a film. So
hopefully I'm wrong and it turns out to be a boom, but I really think this is going to be a bust.
Alrighty. So the next trailer that we're doing, I chose this one. It is Killroy Was Here.
Here we go. There we go. Okay, never heard of them.
Blind the eyes that cannot see, make deaf the ears that cannot hear, close the mouth that cannot tell, and send the monster back to hell.
Back then, his name was Roy Huggins. When he was your age, he already had a taste for blood.
What's her face?
Holy shit. What is happening?
I forgot that you haven't watched it, which this one I wish you would have.
Nothing will stop Killroy if he wants to get you. Oh, God!
You almost gave me a heart attack.
Hey!
I'm a middle-aged man who eats like shit and huffs floor cleaner all day.
Yeah, bud.
This is Alicio and Ernesto.
Hola, amigos. Me llamo Father Pat. Come on out.
No, thank you.
The online donations have put us over the top.
It's going to take a lot more money for that heart transplant.
Kid killing boogeyman, that is just some superstitious bullshit.
Look out! I'll make my special sweet tea.
You gonna come smoke?
Yes! You see that? The gator chaser did it again!
Yeah, it's good, Jared.
Oh, man! Oh, man!
Get this shit!
I'm coming to Killroy!
Oh my God.
Better get the mob.
All right, and that was Killroy Was Here. When I first was trying to pick a trailer, I actually came upon this around a subreddit, and when it linked to watch this trailer, it left out the part at the beginning with Smodcast and that other part. So I didn't know going in that it was a Kevin Smith movie until I saw Kevin Smith's daughter. And still, even at that point, until I saw Jason Mewes, I was like, well, she could just be branching out as an actress now. I mean, whatever. But then when it, all said and done, I was like, oh, this is definitely a Kevin Smith film. And it was literally just like announced pretty quietly that he just was like releasing this all of a sudden. First thoughts, Corey, because you got the fresh take and it sounded like you enjoyed the trailer a bit. So go ahead.
Yeah, dude, this is like everything I'm about. Well, and it could just be me. I didn't take this as an anthology at the time, but says in the description that it's an anthology. Yeah. I kind of just thought this was like one solid thing and running amok the whole time. Even still, like so many cameos and like it just seems like a fun concept. And hearing Kevin Smith is the director is even more fuel to the fire. And maybe this will make up for how terrible Tusk was. You know?
That's the whole thing. I think with Kevin Smith is a very controversial, I guess, director, just with his different works. But I think I respect Kevin Smith a lot because he just is going to do whatever he wants,
right?
And that's totally fine with it. And I'm like,
well, that's him. He just wants to do. He just wants to do what he wants to do, and he's going to do it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care. You know, he seems to be on this kick. You know, it's not just Tusk. It's Yoga Hosers. You know, it's what was that called?
Which I didn't mind Yoga Hosers.
Well, I didn't see it.
I saw it, and no thanks. Nah. Good. And you know what? They even have a band in that movie, and I still didn't like it.
Yeah, but what with the Nazi hot dogs?
You know how? Yeah.
Oh no! Now I have to Google an image of Nazi hot dogs from the.
Put it up. Here it is on the screen.
Oh, terrible.
So there's one with Mike's face on it. Wow.
No, don't show people that. Never show anyone.
All right. So as you said, anthology. It's a horror anthology centered around the phenomenon of Killroy Was Here. Which, funny enough, before this happened, I was talking with my dad. And he was talking about how his dad, when he was in the army, the Killroy Was Here to him meant that wherever they're at, wherever they're walking through, has been cleared of whatever, either ransacked, looted by other soldiers already. So don't waste your time if you are looking for supplies or whatever. But it's fun. And then I Wikipedia'd what Killroy Was Here, the graffiti, and what it meant. And there's a lot of debate, actually. So I don't know, but it does have its ties to World War II. Funny enough, even though I know we were talking about World War I. But anyway, this movie to me, it looks really cool. It looks really fun. It's like Kevin Smith doing his thing. It feels like kind of like Grindhousey because it's anthology. I don't know how he's going to tie him in, if he does it like a vignette style where he kind of just does a little, almost like how the Willy's trailer, where you could like each story is kind of by itself. I feel like they're all, what was it? Oh man, I wrote like really weird notes. Oh, here. So here's where I separated what stories I think are there. So you got Father Pat, where he was talking to the young kids, and he obviously isn't the greatest father. And then sick girl needing heart transplant. Looks like she's maybe conning some people. Then you have the kid with the boogeyman at the school with the janitor. And then you have the Gator Chaser. You have Chris Jericho's character. And those, I think, are the 4 like little side films in the movie. But it looks cool. It looks like a schlocky horror revival, very gory, practical effects. He got to put Kevin Smith got to put his daughter in his own film and have somebody cut her head off, which is pretty cool.
Here's the interesting thing about this trailer as a trailer. Mm-hmm. It keeps setting up like danger and violence and everything, and I thought it was going to be like one of those things, one of those trailers where it's like it shows that, and then it like just shows like a hint of like, okay, it's actually here at the end, like trailers do. Credit to Kevin Smith, this trailer doesn't do that. It sets up all the danger and all that stuff, but then it just gives you like 15 seconds of gratuitous violence at the end, like heads chopped off, like not at the neck, like from the top of the head. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just, I was like, oh, okay. You know, just impalements, everything. It played with my expectations a bit with that.
All righty. With that being said, boom or bust, win or fail. What do you think? Corey, you first.
boom. Oh, for sure. Kevin Smith is going to have his audience no matter where he takes it, no matter what genre he takes it to. Like, he's going to have people who are going to watch it. And I think his audience at this point is enough to, even if this is just subpar, I think it'll get raised above some of his other works.
All righty, Matt.
I'm not so sure about that. I'm going to say like a light bust on this one. I think, but obviously, I don't think Kevin Smith really cares. One of the things I heard Kevin Smith say a couple of years ago was he was like, hey, I think I did what I set out to do with the most recent movies I did because I was with my wife and my daughter picking out a Christmas tree in Jersey on the side of the road, and I heard somebody drive by and he yelled, hey, yoga hosers. And he's like, and the person didn't say yoga hosers sucked. The person just said yoga hosers. That's free of value judgment, you know. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith's comedies. Not a big fan of his delve into horror, but he always has a unique take. I don't know that this movie is particularly for me or it's going to find a big audience, but I have no doubt that Kevin Smith set out to do something and he did it, whether or not that benefits anybody else, you know, I'm not sure, but this is what it is.
Yeah, so we got a boom from Corey, a light bust from you, Matt. I don't think it's really gonna boom. I honestly, I like the idea. I think I don't want to say bust either because I like this, and you know what? I'm gonna say boom with Corey. I think it's actually probably good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hyped for it myself. It's definitely something I want to watch. You know, like you said though, I don't think Kevin Smith cares at all. He's just doing exactly what he wants. It's why I respect him as a director. But I'm probably more excited because Clerks 3 got announced, and that's going to happen. So there's that. That's what I'm excited
It's been
for.
announced like 10 times.
Yeah, but
I think,
you know, it's gonna happen. It's happening.
I think we all share an aspect, all three of us, that we like about Kevin Smith, where I think we see ourselves in the same light, where if this was us in this situation, we wouldn't just be like, hey, Hollywood wants me to do this for X amount of money. It's going to be, well, I'm going to go pay to do this thing that sounds more fun to me.
Mm. All right, looks
Tusk
like
sucked.
we Tusk. I
Put Tusk on screen. Wow.
Don't put Tusk on screen.
Put it on screen. Put Bruce Justin Long on screen. Wow.
Nobody should.
Oh, look at
Nobody
that.
should ever see that.
There's going to be a documentary for Walrus. Yes, the making of Tusk. How about that?
No one needs that.
Nobody wants that.
Put it in the trash.
So we got three trailers here on the hype train. Let's see. It is that time. Let's give the first class ticket to Matt. You first.
Well, I think by default I have to give it to the King's Man.
Yeah.
I'm not super like this is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's the only film that I think that we talked about that I think I'm going to personally see.
Okay.
So I have to give it to the Kingsman.
All right. I think I'm going to give mine to Killroy Was Here. Do it. I'm just going to, we're throwing it all to window, all my doubts about whatever and Kevin Smith and the controversy. I want to watch the film. I got hyped for it. Screw it.
Do it.
Giving him the ticket. Corey, what do you got?
That's the show.
No, I think in my mind, if the ticket goes to what I think is going to do the best, then I think it's got to be Kingsman. Like there's no way Killroy. Either way, I think both movies are going to be fun in their own categories, but I think Kingsman is going to be the most successful of the two. And we're throwing off Blackwater, right? I just assumed that's what we were throwing off.
Throw it away.
Nice segue to who we're kicking off the train. It's going to be Blackwater Abyss.
Yeah, across the board.
Yeah, definitely.
This episode's going to seem real weird in February of next year when both Blackwater Abyss and Killroy Was Here have won several Oscars.
Several, all of them. Sweep. They're going to be the Lin-Manuel Miranda of Oscars.
So we found our first class movies. We kicked some people off the train. The train's a little lighter now. Let's move on to, you know what? Does anyone have something outside the train that we want to talk about? We could talk about whatever you want. Anything on your mind? Let's make this a segment of the show. Corey, do you have anything?
I
want to plug anything outside? Anything?
Plug.
Comic.
I want to plug
comics, movies,
anything
video games.
outside of comics, movies, video games. You guys might know at home.
You don't. Yeah.
This is I started this year. I'm a non-practicing Catholic, and I decided to do Lent this year just to do something out of the ordinary. I haven't bought a new game since March, so like all the new video games that have been released this year, I haven't played, and there haven't really been any games that have released that I've been too terribly upset about. Like I haven't bought a new game in what, Sanford, like 5 months
at least. I mean, yeah, because that's when Lent would have started this year. Would have been about 5 months ago. So
I think that's just a commentary in where we are, like in video game releasing, that I just I haven't cared enough to even have blips on my radar. Like I kind of want to get the new Paper Mario. That'll be fun. Panzer Paladin, I'm gonna play. Like by the time I feel like buying games again, I'm sure that game will be like $3 on the Switch store. But yeah, just such a weird time. We could always talk about the
World War I.
Yeah, World War I, obviously. The stuff going on with the video game version of Avengers is all pretty odd and leaving a poor taste in most people's mouths.
Yeah, well, in a lot of people's mouths recently with the announcement that Spider-Man will be PlayStation exclusive.
Speaking of which, I believe our next episode will be a video game episode when we do it. So
we could always save. Yeah, but I'll just bookmark that and make Avengers my trailer for next time, and then we can just talk about it then.
All right.
Look at that. Work done. Look
so
who's ahead
much
of the game
for that
now.
segment. I don't think unless, Matt, you got something you want to plug or something outside or just different that you want to talk about.
I would like to plug the fact that I have my Star Wars Episode 1 Odie Mandrell with Otaga 222 Pictroid action figure right next to me. And it says, Yavu di Jabba Duhat, Mina Rasa de Chupa.
I can't wait because you want
to put it on screen.
Yes, I can't wait to have to Google that and find that exact figurine to put on the screen.
Hey, I can send you a picture.
Oh, that perfect.
Can I anti-plug something? Don't watch The Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
Oh no, that's terrible. And you know what? It's already doing really well anyway. So I don't think you can derail the hype train from that one.
Watch me. Here we go.
Now, you are actually referencing too a part of the lost parts of the episode 3. We did try to review the Umbrella Academy season 2, which me and Corey have very conflicting views on. But
the cursed episode of the Hypetrain podcast.
Yeah. I think you should watch it. I think it's good. That's what I'm going to plug is Umbrella Academy season 2 and 1. Go do it. Consume that and its comics and all that. So
consume Prilosec. No,
yes.
The Umbrella Academy graphic novels are fantastic, and that's the problem with the Netflix adaptation.
It's also very good. It just isn't exactly like the novels. It's just the characters and somewhat of the story. And you know what? It grows on you. No. Being a fan of the comics.
Ellen Page doesn't grow on things. Put her on screen.
In case anyone
I'll do a screen capture from Juno for you with Ellen Page on it.
With pregnant Ellen Page.
You know what you jag? Here, put on Ellen Page in Umbrella Academy and then side by side with White Violin from the graphic novel. Do that.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Let's do it. Do it right now. Look it. There it is. Wow.
Wow, it looks really good. If only you watched the show. Okay, anyway.
If anyone was wondering, episode 3 became cursed, and most of it, except for our Bill and Ted segment, became unlistenable because Corey and Mike got into a fight about Umbrella Academy 2. They were rolling around fighting, and I was like, guys, this is ridiculous. And they kicked all the recording equipment in their little fight as they were slapping each other. Like you've seen cartoons. You know what was happening. That's what happened.
All right. So, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. Tell us what you think in the comments of the video of these trailers, what you are hyped for. Maybe you have a suggestion for something we should show on the train, something that you're hyped for that maybe we can be hyped for. So like, comment, and subscribe and do all that stuff. God, I am really bad at this. But yeah, I think that's what that was. And then Corey, do a sign off.
All right, guys. Here's your sign off for the day, guys. Always remember to take care of yourself. We live in crazy, awful, garbage times, but always remember you have the hashtag hype train to carry you on to the next station. So signing off. I'm Corey.
I'm Mike.
And then there we go.
I'm Matt.
You're so good at it, man. I just want you to do our outro things. I never know when to cue you to do it, but we're gonna organize it. Thanks everybody for listening. Check out the next episode.